Billionaire-to-be Shohei Ohtani's career earnings have shot up exponentially from when he first came to the MLB on a minor league contract. Over the past 3 seasons, he has completely captivated the world with his talents on the diamond, landing himself not only the largest MLB contract ever given, but the largest sports contract in North American history, turning the heads of top athletes across the world like Patrick Mahomes, J.J. Watt, Donovan Mitchell, and many more. In this video, we will visit the rise of Shohei Ohtani from near MLB letdown to the game's greatest ambassador of our time, all while tracking his climb to being baseball's first and maybe only billion-dollar player we may ever see. Since the start of the 2021 season, Shohei Ohtani has quickly become the face of the MLB. And he is slowly becoming the closest thing to baseball what Michael Jordan was to basketball in his prime. But before arriving to the MLB in 2018, he came from the Professional Baseball League of Japan, the NPB, home to some of the best talent in the world outside of Major League Baseball. Ohtani played in Japan for 5 seasons, built a reputation as the Japanese Babe Ruth, and became by far the most hyped-up baseball player we have ever seen, nationally or internationally. Yes, even more than Bryce Harper or Ichiro Suzuki. In his coming soon era, Shohei first rose to local fame in Japan, playing at Hanamaki Higashi High School, and early on started drawing comparisons to MLB pitcher Yu Darvish, the best Japanese pitcher at the time. He developed himself into a flamethrower, becoming the first recorded high school player to ever reach 100 miles an hour. Once he graduated, Shohei would be faced with the first tough decision of his career. MLB and Japanese scouts viewed Ohtani's future only as a pitcher at this point, but thankfully for the entire world, one NPB team, the Hokkaido Nippon Ham Fighters, offered Shohei his only professional offer to be a two-way player. Although Shohei wanted to come to the MLB at 18, he would wisely choose to put the MLB on hold as a pitcher only and pursue being a two-way player in Japan, signing a contract with the Fighters where he would play from ages 18 to 22. The Fighters' belief in Ohtani's ability to pitch and hit at a high level proves to be a compelling factor in the player he is today. He not only was named as an All-Star every season, but he won the highest achievements and honors recognized in the NPB. His raw talent seemed to double year over year as he developed his game as well as his strength, and he quickly became a force at the plate, hitting baseballs with power nearly unmatched by anyone around him. Ohtani's abilities were obviously taking people's notice stateside, and after the Fighters Championship in 2017 and earning an estimated $2.4 million per season, Shohei decided that his portfolio in the NPB at the age of 23 was more than satisfactory. Ohtani was ready to take another big risk, one that most preceded him hadn't, redefining the phrase betting on yourself. He decided it was time to prove to the world what he could do. Most all Japanese professionals who have pitched in the MLB prior to Ohtani had built their resumes playing in Japan through age 25 or longer before coming to the MLB. In order to avoid the unfavorable financial restrictions that international players face. Had he stayed in Japan 2 more seasons, he would have boosted his resume as well as his earning potential to what was reported at the time to be around $200 million. International players that come to the MLB prior to the age of 25 are only eligible to earn a signing bonus of $2.3 million and a league minimum salary for every season prior to becoming arbitration eligible. Shohei was taking another giant risk. Though nearly all MLB teams had interest in signing him, Shohei went with his gut feeling and chose to sign with the Los Angeles Angels, where he would be under team control for the next 6 years. The Angels paid the Nippon Ham Fighters the $20 million posting fee required and inked Ohtani to a minor league contract. He would need to prove his worth over these first 3 seasons to make a case for his value in his arbitration years to follow. The Angels knew that he had a ton of raw talent, abilities they hoped could translate to the MLB, but they certainly did not know what he would become. All of the baseball world expected Shohei to need time to adjust to the MLB in 2018 and his new environments on and off the field. Ohtani would have mixed results in his rookie season. On the mound, he had up and down moments throughout the year, but showed each start that he had an electric mix of velocity and off-speed pitches that could be dangerous to face when put together. He pitched 51.2 innings, striking out 63 batters, and ended with an ERA of 3.31, better than the league average. Although striking out in almost a third of his at-bats, he did show signs that he could produce in a big way, clubbing 22 homers and driving in 64 runs in only 114 games. Shohei did this while adjusting to his new environment, along with injuries early on and a ton of pressure to perform under the new spotlight. Those numbers would be enough to win him the American League Rookie of the Year, but his first attempt at being a two-way player officially came to an end when his elbow injury was announced late in the season. The 12 to 15 months of rehab from Tommy John surgery would put Ohtani off the mound until the 2020 season. On May 7th of the 2019 season, Shohei returned to be the DH for the Angels while simultaneously rebuilding his throwing arm from surgery. Shohei performed well above average when focusing all of his game-time efforts in preparation only on hitting. While battling through more minor injuries and in another mediocre year for the Angels, Ohtani posted a .287 average with 18 home runs and 62 RBIs in 106 games, further proving himself capable of being a middle-of-the-lineup bat. If he was as effective as he was while battling injuries, there was seemingly no limits to what he could do if healthy for an entire season. So the mystery of what could be for Shohei remained in the eyes of fans, until the 2020 season brought more doubt to Ohtani's future in the MLB. 2020 was a bizarre year for baseball and the world in general, but an important one for Shohei to return healthy and play the entire 60-game season. It didn't last long. Ohtani would only pitch a total of 1 2/3 innings, giving up 7 runs before being pulled from the only start he would make that year. Shohei was shut down on the mound due to compiling injuries to his knee, back, and more, but he did play in a total of 46 games as a DH, producing only below-average numbers, hitting .190 with 7 home runs. He struck out nearly at the same rate we saw in 2018, after improving in 2019 when his main focus was hitting. We were seeing more of the same story from his rookie season, occasionally showing flashes of greatness, but a lot of inconsistency, primarily caused by injury. At this point in time, there was a lot of doubt that Ohtani could ever become an effective two-way player, and thought that he may need to pick one side of the ball to succeed in the MLB. Before spring training in 2021, the Angels and Shohei reached an agreement on a 2-year, $8.5 million contract for the 2021 and 2022 seasons, covering his first 2 arbitration years. At the time, this seemed like it may be fair value for him, but he quickly showed everybody how wrong that value would end up being. 2021 was when Showtime would be born. Ohtani turned all of his doubters into head-scratchers and shot all his believers' expectations through the roof with his 21 campaign. A healthy Shohei was able to change his approach completely and stay on the field for nearly every game. He went from having a lot of rest days built in between his starts to a player who could DH the day after pitching upwards of 6 to 8 innings. Before now, that was an unthinkable thing that someone could do, given the toll each start takes on a pitcher. He was clearly chasing as many at-bats as possible at this point, and not long into 2021, did everyone realize that he may very soon become the owner of the highest baseball contract in history. En route to his first MVP, Ohtani did what baseball has never seen before from both sides of the ball. Shohei topped 130 innings on the mound with a cool .318 ERA and 156 strikeouts, while winning 9 games for the Angels as a starting pitcher. He hit 46 home runs, drove in 100 runs, scored 103 runs, and stole 26 bases. He also racked up a full season of plate appearances for the first time, from his previous career high. Shohei was starting to redefine another term as well: 5-tool player. Anyone who wins an MVP in this league always has sponsorships follow as a result. His off-the-field sponsors started increasing rapidly, and although the exact amount Ohtani made leading up to 2021 was uncertain, his recent award was surely to skyrocket his K-score. Year 2 of his pre-arbitration contract was now underway, and 2022 would be the last season Shohei would be drastically underpaid. He put together arguably his second MVP season in a row, falling short of the award to Aaron Judge in his run to 62 home runs, which somehow overshadowed what Ohtani did. In 157 games, Ohtani put up a career-high 166 innings pitched, struck out 219, and logged an astonishing 2.33 ERA. At the dish, he hit 273 with 34 home runs, 95 RBIs, 160 hits, and scored 90 runs. He set career highs in over a dozen categories and still lost the MVP. The superstar caliber Ohtani that we saw in 2021 and 2022 was clearly here to stay, doing things nobody has ever done at this level and well on his way to the Hall of Fame. His second consecutive healthy campaign on the field led to a record-breaking number of sponsors for Shohei in 2022. Those 17 were estimated to have made him around $20 million. Prior to the 2023 season, two key things took place: his final year of arbitration and the WBC. Ohtani signed a record-breaking one-year arbitration contract at $30 million, and yet again gave the Angels a massive discount from what he was actually worth. That $30 million salary still only had him the 16th highest paid player in the league. A few months later, the World Baseball Classic started, and Ohtani had everyone's attention as he was set to lead Team Japan. In a 3-week showdown, Showtime would lead Team Japan to victory over Team USA to win the WBC. And on the final play of the championship game, he struck out his then-teammate and best talent of our generation, Mike Trout. This moment catapulted him to the top of the baseball universe, while simultaneously capturing the biggest crowd to ever watch a single baseball game. Shohei's perceived value going into his walk year was already unfathomable, bound to break the record. A few weeks later, Ohtani got the opening day start for the Angels, and the game got over 6.2 million viewers in Japan alone, more than 3 times as many views as the next highest opening day game in the United States that day. Talk about a player that reaches a mass audience. All eyes are on Shohei at this point. From the start of the 2023 season, Ohtani came out looking like someone who may be able to top what he did the previous 2 seasons, if somehow possible. He chased Aaron Judge's home run pace from the year prior for nearly 4 months and was on pace for 60-plus home runs during that stretch. Shohei put up insane numbers at the plate while simultaneously mirroring his results from his past 2 seasons on the mound, logging 132 innings while striking out 167 batters and winning 10 games. Ohtani led the American League with 44 home runs and an on-base percentage of .412, while driving in 95 runs, scoring 102 runs, stealing 20 bases, and hitting over 300 for the first time in his MLB career. He set career highs in slugging percentage, OPS, on-base percentage, and hits given up per 9 innings. If not for more injuries late in the season, with another 20 games and 5 healthy starts, he would have easily set career highs in hits, runs, doubles, triples, RBIs, and home runs. Shohei was shut down late in the season due to an oblique injury and a second torn UCL in his pitching elbow. But he still did enough in 137 games to lead the MLB in WAR and secure himself a second MVP award. Shohei's elbow injury right before becoming a free agent led many to believe for a second time that he may have easily just lost 9 figures on his upcoming contract, being that pitchers don't have a great track record of returning from a second Tommy John surgery. But despite being off the mound until 2025, $500 million was certainly still in the realm as to what Ohtani could land over 10 to 12 years with his next contract. Shohei's sponsorships doubled year over year from 2022 to 2023. He made an estimated $40 million, over 9 times larger than the next highest, the 2022 MVP Aaron Judge. That $40 million in sponsorships alone would have put him as the 3rd highest player in baseball, and by this point, there was only one question left. What amount would he sign for? After weeks of checking for Ohtani updates, his decision was confirmed on December 9, 2023, and the Dodgers were able to celebrate Christmas early in signing him to a 10-year, $700 million deal, absolutely shattering the previous record contract. An annual average value of $70 million over 10 years was the obvious breakdown at first sight. But a few days later, the contract negotiations were released. In the most unfathomable move we may have ever seen a player do, Shohei agreed to structure his contract so that he'll only be paid $2 million per season, with $680 million deferred to be paid out the 10 years following his contract. Talk about taking pennies on the dollar. The Dodgers have a much more recognized brand worldwide than the Angels do, and have produced on the field unlike any team we have seen over the past decade. New sponsorship opportunities and a record-breaking amount of jersey sales will be coming Shohei's way by going to one of the most popular franchises in all of sports. He will likely have a proportionate impact to the Dodgers' earning as they do to his sponsorship opportunities, which will at the very least remain steady in his playing years. His contract with the Dodgers runs to age 38, and by that time, he'll have made $742 million in MLB contracts alone. If Shohei has enough in the tank and the desire to keep playing, it's safe to say he could still earn another $100 million contract in the future. $1.1 billion by age 48. And that's just the floor of what Shohei's earnings will accumulate to over the next 20 years. As he continues to build his Hall of Fame resume with the Dodgers, one crucial question emerges. Is Shohei Ohtani signing with the Dodgers bad for baseball? Thank you for watching this video by Fielder's Choice. If you enjoyed this video, please drop a like and subscribe to the channel for MLB content just like this.